Okay, so this is going to be the first of three drawings for your watercolor stripes. This is a concept drawing, and I'm going to have you do your concept in marker. I'm not going to have you use pencil. You can use pencil for planning purposes always, and this small assignment is no exception. You can use pencil if you want to. But I really want to see you manage the tip of this marker. Now, the tip of this marker is shaped like a cone. We say it's conical. Anything shaped like a cone is conical. And remembering why it is conical, in case you've forgotten, depending on how you hold it, you can get a slender line or a fat line or a line that's neither slender nor fat, but somewhere in between. Remember that this is called the weight of the line, okay? Line weight. So lightweight, medium weight, heavyweight. And of course, if I wish to make a super heavyweight line, I just go ahead and double up my line. So that's an extremely heavily weighted line right there. In addition to weight, we want to talk a little bit about line quality. So let me come down here. A straight line, well, that's a quality, right? Straight. But let's try this. This is a looping line. This is a different quality. It's a very regularly looping line. It's very rhythmic. It's very predictable. This looping line, on the other hand, is somewhat less predictable, even though you can describe both as a looping line. So the quality is different, even though both are looping lines. You can do broken lines. This would be an example of a broken line. Individual parts that come together to create the effect of a line, movement across a page, but none of these small lines is really connected with each other. We could connect them with yet other lines, and you notice here I've combined a thicker, smaller stroke with a longer, skinnier stroke to complete that kind of complex line. Now, if you look at this plain sheet of paper with my marker, let's get started on one concept. I'm going to use the fat part and the thin part, the fat part and the thin part. You notice how I switch directions down and up, down and up, the fat part and the thick part, the thin part, that part and the thin part. This line shows a variety of line weights, and I'm going to see if I can complement that first line here with a second one. So there's that line going across. I'm going to try a different line now. Let's see, what's a good line? I'm going to make this line. Now remembering, my starts and stops are very much under control. So even though that's probably a pretty easy line for you to achieve, you're not going to achieve it unless you take some time. Here's another small line that corresponds to it. And it's just rolling across here kind of gently, conforming or not conforming, whatever you think. Okay, so there goes another line. I'm going to go ahead and do this line, which is a zigzag line, a little bit like the top one, but not quite, okay? And in this case, I might just make a few triangles under here. So it's not only you making lines, it's you making complex and interesting lines. You're creating rhythm. There's a movement also involved with line. Line is movement, as a matter of fact. Here's a point. The point starts to move. And guess what? In moving, you've created a line. Now here's yet another looping line different from the first. So pretty soon here, I'll have at least 6 different lines, and that's probably good enough. On your final, I would say you need 6 or more lines. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. I just have to do a couple of more. I could go with a very basic line. Be careful though, that line is very predictable and can get very old very fast. What if I do this? Something less predictable, something less unexpected. What if I complicate that line with an additional line there? What if I go ahead and add some thinner marks here? So here I have a line, unexpected, that's more than just straight. One more line. Of course, you can turn your paper any way you want to. This line, this area is a little bit less dense than this. I can put my other line down here. Let's see how this one's going to go. Let's just make this one bop up and down. And again, to make it a little more complicated, I'll put another line on top, a more rhythmic looping line. And I might do this down here. This line can go beneath another line, and this line beneath again. So you can make your surface complicated. Try to use different weights, different thicknesses of line, thick and thin, and thick and thin, and thick and thin, and thick, and medium. That's your concept. Now you try.